Hello, I'm Cursor, and we are watching games from Artifact Cup number 29. We are in the other half of the semi-finals. We've seen the first game between Majir and me, so now we shall take a look at the next game in this series. This one will be played on Torin Crater, the map I seriously dislike the most. And Majir will be playing random, and I will be playing as the Gaussian. I'll be looking at this from my point of view. And the first game, Majir quite deftly maneuvered around the map, basically nullified the advantage that I had due to my spawn position on Gaussian territories. So it'll be interesting to see just how this will play out between us. So I've spawned down here as the Gaussian forces, and in the north we have Majir Paktu, who has spawned in as the coalition. It looks like that random function I really liked coalition that day, so it'll be another classic coalition versus Gaussian matchup on Torin Crater. Now, we're both just building up our economies, so nothing too exciting going on. I immediately start the production cruiser refinery mode technology research, since I decided to be greedy again, and since I was hoping that Majir would try and go for a quick victory, and if I managed to survive the initial rush, I was hoping that I would come out ahead with a better economy. So Majir has just opened up his first bulkhead and started mining from that location. He is currently not producing any units, and my refinery mode research is just about to be finished, so those salvagers will be able to just dump those resources at the production cruiser. Majir is producing a couple of scouting LEVs. He's going to fan them out and see what's going on the map. It's always a good idea to start with a couple of those light strike craft units that you can build at the start of the game, just so you have a bit of a overview of just what the enemy is up to. I haven't researched any other offensive technology yet. I'm still just on Sand Skimmer Tech, while Majir already has AAV coming out from his carrier, so he did decide to go for another AV opening, which seems to be the most popular thing to do these days as a coalition plan, and it's also very solid, and if you deal enough damage with it, it can be quite devastating. The AAVs are just rolling around on the map, while this LAV is just happily shooting at that scanner of mine. So now I'm blind in that part of the map. So Majir is advancing on the other side, which again is quite smart. So I spot the AAVs with my sand skimmer. I immediately try to retreat, and I just managed to get that sand skimmer back before it starts to be perma-slowed by that AAV. Now Majir will see that I'm already mining with refinery mode from that location, so he will move in with his AAVs. I immediately start retreating. I am about to finish my assault ship fabrication research, but I am very vulnerable at the moment, and I have just sand skimmers to defend myself with, so I tried to sacrifice the sand skimmer, hoping the AAV will switch targets. But Majir is focus firing on the salvagers. Seeing that I will have to mainly defend with my carrier, I also start Power Reserve 2 research. And now all of those AVs basically piling onto my main, trying to deal as much damage as they can. They take down a Salvager, and I decide to move in with those Sandskimmers to at least deal as much damage as I can to those AVs before they switch targets. Magir plops down a defensive smoke, but that assault ship is already too close. And now the firepower from the Gated and the one assault ship that is already out in the field should be enough to kill these AVs. But Magir just moves them in, ignoring everything I have. He has 2 armor upgrades, I believe, so those AVs are quite durable. And he just plows straight through my resource line, and I lose all of the Salvagers on the main. I did put my expansion Salvagers back to work, but I left my production cruiser here, so that probably wasn't the best move. I could have just put the production cruiser there, since Magir ignored that. So in the meantime, Magir has picked up an artifact with his base runner. He has a support cruiser at his bulkhead, speeding up his resourcing operation. And Magir is still building AAVs. I fully expect that Magir was counting on losing all of those AAVs, and well, it was a good trade. He took out 6 Salvagers and disrupted mining on that expansion, so going for such a greedy opening didn't really help me. I mean, I do have some assault ships ready to go. They are moving out across the map, but this will not be as effective as Magir's AV attack. I placed some Sandskimmers in the path of the base runner to prevent Magir from just moving in with the base runner. But since Magir is playing as the coalition, he always has the option to plop down a third post, and he also has an AAV there, so his base runner will be very safe. I tried to disrupt some of Magir's mining with a single Sandskimmer, but Magir, of course, has AAVs everywhere. Just in case, I tried to do some Sandskimmer aggression. My assault ships actually make it across the map. I'm not sure if Magir spotted them, but these assault ships are very good against clumped up units like that. So those 3 assault ships should be able to take down at least these 4 Salvagers without problem. Magir already has strike fighters in the air, and the assault ships, of course, can't shoot at air, so they are in quite a bit of trouble, at least for now. Another support cruiser pops out for Magir, and I am just barely recovering from all of that economic damage. And I really don't have any offensive units out at the moment. It looks like I was also supply capped there for a bit. I did research interceptor tech, but with just 1 interceptor. I am quite a bit behind Magir. Oh well, I thought he had more than that in his carrier. He just has 2 at the moment, but I'm pretty sure he will rectify that situation. Magir tries to steal the closest artifact to my base position, but my Sandskimmers intercept that, and he cleverly uses a smoke to hide the base runner while it is placing down a turret post. So as soon as the smoke clears the turret post starts firing on my Sandskimmers, and the Sandskimmers then have to deal with the turret post before trying to deal damage to that AV. So that was quite a good trade for Magir there. I think I lose all of those Sandskimmers. None of these survive. So considering he just lost a base runner, that was a very good trade for him. Magir has a couple of railguns out in the field. It looks like he will try to secure his extraction zone as much as he can, so he will be able to deliver these artifacts without incident. So what am I up to in the meantime? I have built more interceptors. Now, I'm actually not sure what my plan here was. Maybe I was just like, I think I lost the game as soon as I lost those salvagers, and I'm just trying to go through the motions. I just knew that Majir would macro up as much as he could, and it definitely feels like I didn't really have a plan at the moment. I'm not building any units consistently. Interceptors are slowly being built up. I now have 2 full wings, and Majir still has 2 strike fighters. Now this would be the best moment to just launch those interceptors and try to raid Majir's resourcing. I could take out a support cruiser with those interceptors easily, and possibly take out quite a bit of those salvagers as well. Majir is escorting that artifact carrying base runner with railguns and AAVs, so those 2 assault ships really won't be able to do anything, except maybe intercept that second base runner, which is completely unescorted or unguarded. But Majir, of course, immediately responds and reroutes his units, as he knows that that base runner will be very safe. Seeing his clump of units there, I then immediately launch my interceptor wings, and while those assault ships are trying to deal damage, I decide to target as many of those railguns as I can with my interceptors. I do take out the base runner, yes, I do go for the second base runner. I think I accidentally stumbled upon it and I just nuke it back into the sands. And now that my interceptors have run out of missiles, of course, Majir's strike fighters come in, and that base runner manages to take it down. So we have a rank 2, what's it called? Yes, a rank 2. He's now an acolyte base runner, so that base runner will be able to move quite a bit faster than usual. But of course, I did not even notice this as we were playing, so that base runner will probably be wasted, especially since this group of AAVs and railguns is coming in.
Command verified. Armored ship online.
The railguns look pretty cool. They're a bit boxy for my taste, but that's the way all the coalition forces look anyway. So see, so Majir is advancing on that flank with mostly rank 1 AAVs supported by railguns, so these assault ships basically stand no chance. But my interceptors currently have no enemies in the skies, so I'm able to take down all of those railguns. And in the meantime, I deployed some sandskippers to Majir's main, and just as I rush in with those sandskippers, those 3 missile batteries pop out for Majir, and he's able to mortar strike most of those sandskippers and then mop up with his LAV force. So, I'm actually using that base runner to my advantage, since it's that much faster. It should be able to deliver that artifact without incident. And now I'm just using my carrier to defend as best as I can. I lose all of my salvagers here. I do believe for free I could have just moved them back. But like I said, as far as I remember at this point, I was just, well, I hope I can do something with my carrier at least. I have power reserve 3 research, and once that artifact and this other artifact that I managed to just barely sneak Steal basically from under Majir's nose there will be delivered. I'll have even more power available. And of course, since Majir used battle cruisers in the last game to great effect, I think I was very afraid of using my carrier just as a blunt weapon, as those battle cruisers could seriously ruin my day, as they did in the first game. I have started siege cruiser fabrication since I was afraid of big clumps of railguns coming in while Majir is just left to his own devices to macro up as much as he can. And it looks like Majir switched it up a bit and went for artillery cruisers. These coalition artillery cruisers are quite deadly, or well, they can be if they encounter any large stationary forces. I believe they fire on the move as well, passively, and the barrage ability fires a large amount of missiles, but that barrage is fired more slowly than the Galcian siege cruiser barrage. So you have a bit more time to move out of that hailstorm of missiles, unlike the Galcian variant, where you have to be very careful or all of those missiles will ruin your day very quickly. Majir pumps out, or has pumped out, a lot of LAVs. He has 13 LAVs there, and he is now trying to intercept that base around. I decide to use my interceptors to take down as many of these LAVs as I can. And I also position some assault ships directly in the path of Majir's incoming forces, and Majir decides it's not worth it at the moment and lets me get that artifact. Now, in the meantime, I think I had an assault ship here and a few sand skimmers. They were just scouting around, but I was hoping that maybe if he deployed all of his forces here that I would be able to deal some economic damage to his main, but I didn't count on these artillery cruisers popping up. So I'm still quite passive with my carrier. I'm now researching upgrades for my sand skimmers. That base runner, it just picked up the artifact as I was about to say. Well, there I go, I'm being lazy again, not paying attention. The Acolyte base runner is doing a lot of good work for the Galcian forces, keeps picking up and delivering artifacts, so I'm now at 3 artifacts and Majir is still at 2, so if I would be able to grab another one, I'd be at 4 artifacts and just one artifact capture away from victory. Majir is just moving around with these huge roving bands of LAVs. And these assault ships would of course be excellent against clumped up LAVs like that, but the assault ships are nowhere close to those LAVs. Since I spot the missile batteries, I attempt to take them out with those assault ships, but since they have that much armor, the assault ships just aren't that efficient against them. I switch targets to railguns, and as you can see, since they are close enough, they are both taking damage at once, and they both survive, since those assault ships are eventually taken out by all of those railguns and these artillery cruisers. Majir's LAV ball doesn't counter another assault ship force. But Majir just has all the tools that he needs. He has a large ground force, he has air units, and he's just pounding my forces into the desert at the moment. Since I still have some interceptors in the air, I do deploy them, which was a smart thing to do, since I spotted those missile batteries way down the other side of the map. let's see if I'll be able to snipe that baseline, and yes, it does go down. So I've denied Majid the opportunity to even the scores, and my sand skimmers are actually getting some good work done here on these railguns. But if I was paying a bit more attention, I would have just told them to attack this railgun here. I mean, it's so low on health, and I could have just dealt with that blob so much better if I was paying attention. I believe I was very sure that I was going to lose this engagement, lose all of my units, and then it would be just my carrier against all of Majid's forces. Single assault ship does manage to get in to Majid's base, but once again, since I'm busy down there with that huge battle, the assault ship is attacking the support cruiser instead of attacking these clumped up salvagers. So once again, I'm too late to react and too late to move my units. Siege cruiser does pop out for me, and it starts dealing damage to the enemy forces. The sand skimmers have been able to stem the tide a bit, but if I stop moving that siege cruiser, it will be taken down very quickly by those artillery cruisers. And unfortunately, I wasn't quick enough with moving my siege cruiser, and it goes down. Now Majid is free to rain death from above on my forces. Another siege cruiser pops out for me, and I immediately launch another missile barrage at all of Majid's forces, and I take down one of his artillery cruisers, and most of his other units are heavily damaged. And I believe that one remaining railgun that is still there does get taken out by the barrage. Majid is macroing up more units as all of that is taking place. So he has a nice mix of units still available to him. My assault ships managed to clean up the massive coalition forces that were still left on my doorstep. Now things are starting to look a bit more optimistic for me. I'm pumping out assault ships as fast as I can, if nothing else, to try and stem the tide. And my carrier is also positioned at this choke point here, so if Majid would move in with his forces, I would be able to deal extensive damage to his forces. But now Majid has decided he has enough, and he is moving in with his carrier and a bunch of railguns. He has... how many? He has 10 railguns coming in, along with a lot of AVs and just a huge mix of units. As soon as those units pop out a bit too far, my carrier starts to deal damage to them. So Majid revises his plan of attack, and of course he does the smart thing. He knows that if he engages here in this large flat area, most of his railguns will be able to engage my carrier much more efficiently than through this choke point here, where I could just take out clumped units with the carrier missiles quite efficiently. And once again, I believe I'm a bit too late in reacting. I should have started moving my carrier sooner than this. Majid tries to secure another artifact right there from under my nose. I'm using my strike fighters to snipe out as many railguns as I can from Majid's forces, since I do have a siege cruiser supporting my carrier, and I order another barrage right on top of Majid's forces. A lot of damage being dealt to Majid and his forces. But unfortunately, I just don't have enough units on the ground to be able to stop Majid's advance, and of course I am afraid of all of those railguns opening fire on my carrier. I lose my siege cruiser there, 2 strike fighters I believe. Now I'm retreating with my carrier while dealing as much damage as I can. I've completely mined out, well, not completely, there's still some RUs left in my main, but basically we are in the very end game on this map. I've just pumped up my weapons and rage systems to deal as much damage as I can as I'm retreating with my carrier. This was working much better than I imagined. My siege cruiser was able to fire rounds into the fog of war, or at least into any of these pings. And in the meantime, Magir will be able to secure 2 more artifacts. Now, if you've watched any of the other games that Magir has played, he really is good with just making sure the enemy is boxed in on his side of the map. I mean, on the enemy side of the map, and that Magir is able to just pick up all 3 artifacts at once and deliver all of them. So, Magir secures or ties the artifacts core. I'm still retreating with my forces, and I have research power reserve 5, so my carrier now has the missile barrage ability unlocked, and I launch it as soon as I can, and get quite a few good hits in there. And most of Magir's ground forces have now been defeated, and sadly, at this point, because of course I wasn't sure what else Magir still had, or what else Magir had microed up at this point, I decided to go to his side of the map because there were still some resources there. I mean, I knew there were still resources there, since my sand skimmers are now dealing damage to his units. And oh dear, if I would have just looked there, would have seen this support cruiser on 154 health points, and instead these sand skimmers are dealing damage to the salvagers while the support cruiser is healing them. So that is just a huge fail on my part. And to extend on my previous thought, if I would know what is going on there, I would have immediately turned around my carrier and just tried to DPS down Magir's carrier. Magir didn't have that many units left, and I could have taken those out and then just tried to deal more damage to Magir than he could to my carrier. So I eventually managed to take down that pesky support cruiser, and then I still have these salvagers to mop up. But in the meantime, Magir re-establishes his economy in my base and uses his superior Air Force to make sure that I don't deliver the final artifact. And at this point, since Magir already has those base runners in position, he will be able to move them to his extraction zone without much incident. I have no production cruisers left. I lose them to those strike fighters. My carrier is on the other side of the map, and Magir has a vastly superior air force, and I have lost all of my interceptors. Now, I realize far too late that my sand skimmers could have just been destroying these logistics module from the very start instead of dealing with that support cruiser and those salvagers there, and that would have forced Magir to spend more of his CUs on logistics modules. Let's just look at the units lost tab. I'm a bit curious to see how this unfolded. Surprisingly enough, Magir lost a lot more RUs in all of those engagements. Now, as soon as I realized that these base runners are way too far away for those sand skimmers to do anything, especially with these strike fighters just whittling down my numbers before they get there, I pump up all power to the Galician carrier's speed subsystem. So my carrier is about as quick as a sand skimmer at this moment, but it won't be enough to get there in time. The missile barrage deals some damage to those base runners, but most of those missiles eventually miss. And Majir captures the final 5th artifact for him, and I am eliminated from the tournament. So congratulations to Majir, and he is now moving on to the finals, where Tren is waiting for him. Thank you for watching these semifinals series, and I hope to see you next time when we look at the finals of Artifact Cup number 29. Thanks again for watching. Bye.